Mayor Peckford, if I may start with you, I would like to know if you could indicate to us whether any ministry of the province of Ontario consulted North Grenville prior to the announcement of a proposed prison, including any reference to provincial policy statements or regard to the North Grenville official plan.
Certainly, as I've said many times in many different forums, media, council colleagues, yourselves, and members of the public, certainly I and council colleagues had no prior knowledge. Obviously, we have staff, some of whom have moved on, so I can't speak for them, but certainly of the staff that I know, there was no prior consultation. We were presented with the news of use of those lands just a couple of days before the announcement, as I've said now for almost 3 years.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Now, we can now confirm through the province's record of proceedings, which is part of the judicial review process, that they do plan to destroy at least 6 farm buildings, plus the bar arena. Now, with respect to these buildings, it'll obviously be too late to save them if the province decides to move ahead with the prison project while the judicial review is going on. And we believe the best way to protect them would be to obtain an injunction to prevent the province from destroying the buildings until the judicial review process has been completed. So we ask that the municipality undertake this step, that is, undertake an injunction to keep the buildings in place until we know the outcome of the judicial review process. Thank you. Now, the legality of the province's decision is something that we believe is in the interest of everyone in North Grenville, whether they are for or against the proposed prison. It turns out that the community has done its part in supporting the judicial review process by raising over $20,000 to cover some of the cost of that process. We would ask Council to match that amount, to demonstrate that we're all in this together, doing our part for the future of North Grenville and the interest of North Grenville residents. So to match the community's contribution to date in the process, which is over 20,000, but for the moment, let's just say 20,000. Thank you. I'll now turn it over to Kirk. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Victor, and good evening, everyone. Just to follow with the same methodology, in the interest of time and the fact that some of these topics were discussed in our May 26th meeting with Mayor Peckford, Deputy Mayor Barkley, Acting CAO Dunlop, and Director Boyce Pettis, I don't plan to provide much context, but will have a definite ask for each of the topics, of which there are 5. With your agreement, I will go through all 5, and then responses can be provided where applicable at the end. That's okay? Okay. So the first one being policing costs. Our understanding is that your letter to Solgen, Mayor Peckford, from December 9th, 2021, asking for details about who would bear the cost of any related policing costs has still gone unanswered. We confirmed with you that the province has not provided written assurances that any policing costs related to the proposed facility will not be borne by the municipality and its taxpayers. In the absence of such a confirmation, we would expect the municipality of North Grenville to be in the same boat as every other municipality that has to pay for policing costs related to a provincial jail within its jurisdiction. So we're hoping that you can confirm today if that is still accurate. Number 2, wastewater treatment facility. We confirm that while the province is committed to paying their proportional share of the cost of the wastewater treatment facility expansion for the proposed facility, the province has yet to enter into a contract or agreement that would officially confirm the exact amount, the terms and conditions for their proportional share. So we would ask that the municipality not commit to any contractual agreement without express written agreement from the province to pay the proportional amount, even if the prison project is abandoned. Number 3, land purchase of the acreage planned for the facility. Our understanding is that North Grenville has a strong interest in the land in question, including the possibility of acquiring the entire property, should the divisional court quash the minister's decision or prohibit the construction of the correctional facility. We would be happy to support such a statement, and can you please confirm this today? Number 4, surplus land. We confirm that the province has not, in any substantive, official, or legally binding manner, confirmed that unused land around the perimeter of this facility will be granted to the municipality if the judicial review is unsuccessful. We would ask that you make a public statement about the status of that statement. And finally, due diligence activities. During a recent meeting, we spoke briefly to the due diligence activities that the province has claimed in their testimony were completed. We're asking for confirmation from the municipality if the province has shared any results from the due diligence activities at this stage of the process, and if so, we would ask for access to them. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening, and I look forward to your responses.
Thank you. I don't think we can weigh in on all the matters at once, but we appreciate that you're here and obviously seeking clarity. So certainly on behalf of Council and alongside Acting CEO Karen Dunlop, certainly on policing costs, that the request remains. You're correct. We have yet to receive confirmation of how policing costs could be underwritten by the province. That is a request that is live, but certainly not something that we have spoken about in recent months. Obviously, I gather that perhaps the judicial review and the fact that the courts, that this matter is now before the courts, may delay the sense of urgency the province has on certain operational matters. This may be among them, but that's obviously speculation on my part. In terms of land purchase, as I've said publicly, and as the council is well aware, we have always indicated to the province a strong interest to purchase every available acre, and that continues to be communicated. So whether or not the correctional facility proceeds, all the surplus farmside lands, which is where the facility is slated to go, are acres that we have and always have had an interest in. So we continue to communicate our strong desire to acquire those lands should they become available, and all surplus lands, including those around the perimeter, or surplus being the lands that are not slated for the correctional facility as it exists now or potentially exists. We have repeatedly engaged a variety of ministries and have worked successfully with MPP Steve Clark to ensure that that request is before the ministry, and again remains very active as a request. Again, I think because this matter is now before the courts, it may be delaying a final decision on the deployment of those lands that wouldn't be used by a prospective correctional facility, but I can't say that with confidence right now. And I think on the wastewater treatment plant, perhaps I can defer that to our CEO.
Thank you, Your Worship. In regards to the wastewater treatment plant, we do not have a cost-sharing agreement currently in place. We are working in regards to the proportional share, which we have agreed in writing, and of which you have a copy of that letter. It is also available on the municipal website under this specific topic, but I cannot say that everything has been signed, sealed, and delivered at this point in time, as the process continues to be ongoing.
Maybe just to add, and really this is your time, so I'm happy to answer questions, but I think at this point we're here to receive information from yourselves, as well as give you some insight into where we're at. Obviously, the expansion of the wastewater treatment plant, as will be coming in a future meeting of council, is likely changing a little bit, and it has nothing to do with the correctional facility, but just due to the price of the tender. We may be more incrementally expanding the facility, but that's Ms. Dunlop's wheelhouse, and she'll be bringing more formal information to council in the coming weeks, I think. So that's where things stand right now.
Thank you for that information. Just on the due diligence activities, could you maybe just comment on that final ask?
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Dunlop.
Thank you, Your Worship. We cannot confirm any of the due diligence activities that have or have not taken place in regards to the process at this point in time. You have all the documents we have.
Just for clarity, you've not received any due diligence activities from the province?
We have no due diligence from an EA standpoint, etc. I understand that in accordance with some of the documents we have received, due diligence remains one of the items outstanding.
Okay, thank you.
Again, I believe because the matter is now before the courts, there is, I think, perhaps the pace has slowed a little bit in terms of some of the operational and construction-related matters. There has been an exchange around a site plan, which is obviously an important preliminary document if, in fact, construction were to proceed. So there has been some dialogue in recent months around that, but apart from that, the engagement with the province has been fairly limited because it is before the courts.
If I can just indicate that in the, during the motion to dismiss, the material that was submitted by the province indicated that they have completed the Class A environmental assessment, and there's about 7 or maybe 8 due diligence activities that they have completed and paid for. They made the case that, you know, they had to pay for it. So they are completed, and so we're hearing today that they haven't shared any of those with you?
Not to my understanding, Ms. Dunlop, can you confirm?
Your worship, no, not to my understanding.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay. Good. Anything else, colleagues? Okay, thank you. I know you're passionate advocates of certainly a way forward. So I appreciate you being here and giving council some context and update. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you again.